One story that I just heard from a father that his daughter was a captive, was a hostage by the Yimach Shimam in Gaza. Her name was Ol Gadish. She was just released. Not released, Chas v'Shalom. They took her out of there from the terrorists, Yimach Shimam. I think it was last week. I think it was last week Sunday. She was an Israeli soldier at the south of the border, and unfortunately the Rashaim, those animals, kidnapped her. And afterwards, the IDF, thank you Hashem, were able to pull her out of there. But listen to the story of what happened. The night before they did a Fashat Chala, but the week before, her father said over, and he said this in national TV, and I saw the clip myself. I just saw before on WhatsApp. It's such a Kiddush Hashem. I got chills. He said that he davened to Hashem around the week before. He davened to Hashem and he told the Kadosh Baruch Hu, this is the father of all Gadish. He said, he prayed to Hashem, and he's not a religious person yet. He prayed to Hashem and he told the Kadosh Baruch Hu, I'm going to take upon myself to keep Shabbat for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life, in schut and merit, you give my daughter back. And the way he said over the story was that he wanted to test HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He said, Ratziti lenasot et Hashem. I wanted to see if Hashem really exists. Because he has one son that's religious. And his son told him, Abba, take upon yourself Shabbat. Take upon yourself Shabbat. So his son convinced him. So the father said, you know what? I'll make a deal with God. I'll make a deal with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He said this over publicly, the father. And he took upon himself and he told Hashem, if my daughter is released, I'm keeping Shabbat for the rest of my life. Sunday, he says he was at work. He gets a call from his wife, and his wife started telling him that there are rumors, because they did not give them the news right away, because it could be a shock for the parents. It could be dangerous. So they gave them the news slowly, like drip drops, like le'at le'at. So his wife called him at work, and she says there's rumors that our daughter, that we're able to take her out from Gaza City. And he tells his wife, Ma'at, mistabet, you joking around with me? Come on, don't play games. She's like, no, I'm telling you, there's real rumors. Come home. As soon as he got home, he already saw the reporters were there and the cops were there, and his daughter was 100% saved. And he said that he was in shock. He couldn't believe it. And the way he was saying by the interview, he was saying, why did Hashem listen to me? Why do I deserve for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to listen to me? I just had one sincere tefillah, one sincere Kabbalah of taking Shabbatot, but Hashem really listened to me. Look, now I have my daughter back. And he says he wants this to be mefalsem. He wants people to advertise this. That he took upon himself Shabbat, Rabotai, and his daughter that Sunday already came back home. Another story was said over, and I verified this from Rabbi Zamir Cohen, who runs a huge organization called Hidabut. Two powerful stories that happened in the kibbutz because of Shabbat. And again, usually I don't like to speak about these things, because I don't want to say the Chas v'Shalom, the tragedy happened only, I don't want to even Chas v'Shalom go there. But if the people that are surviving are saying over such stories to advertise, we got to have their back, and we have to give them the chizuk to advertise their own stories that they want people to actually know about. So another survivor said over that she was in the kibbutz. She was unfortunately right there where the Hamas, Yimach Shemam terrorists got in and broke inside the kibbutz. And she said that she woke up early in the morning hearing gunshots and rockets. And when she woke up and she went to the door, she was able to look through the hole of the door. She says it's over publicly on national TV, this lady. She survived it. She says she was looking through the door and she sees all the Reshaim, all the evil Hamas guys walking around screaming and cursing in Arabic. And she was terrified. She's like, whoa, what is going on over here? She runs to her children who were sleeping. She woke them up and she said that she took them to the kitchen and she gave every child a knife. And she said, just in case, Chas v'Shalom, those Hamas Rashem Yimach Shemam get in, the most we could do is try to stab them. So she gave every one of her children a knife. She goes to the door and she hears the noise. Can you imagine how terrifying that is? Hashem Yerachem. She hears the noise of the Arab guys coming closer and closer. They already passed her gate in the front lawn and they're coming closer to her door. She said at that moment, she turned to Shemaim. She was standing by the door. She turned to Shemaim, she turned to the heaven. And she told Hashem, Hashem, if you save me and my family, I will keep Shabbat for the rest of my life. And she said it sincerely, me'omek kaleh, from her heart. She says that suddenly the noise of the terrorists started getting lower and lower. She didn't even realize what happened. She looks through the hole. She sees that the terrorists were having a conversation, turned around and left the front lawn. And she was totally spared. Rabotai, this is 100% true story that just happened. She's advertising all over the world. She's screaming to Hashem, Hashem, I will keep Shabbat. And boom, she was saved 100%. This is unbelievable. Another story says from Rav Zamir Cohen. Zamir Cohen is a very big rabbi in Eretz Yisrael, and he said that he verified the story. Unfortunately, this terrorist attack, Rabotai, was planned for a long time. It was so planned that the Reshaim, those evil people, Yimach Shema v'Zicham, even had a list of who lives where and who's in their houses at what time. Because unfortunately, a lot of the Gaza people used to work for these Jews. Shows you how evil they were. One person was saying that she was shocked to know that one of the terrorists himself was a worker at her house for many years, and she would give this worker, this Arab guy, she would give him a lot of toys for his children. And he would take it for his children. It ends up being he's coming back, he wants to kill you. It just shows you how disgusting, and dishonest these Risha'im, these evil people are. But they had a list of who lives where and how many children per household. How did they get such information? I don't know. That's terrifying. So it says of Zamir Cohen, he says there was one family that lives in a kibbutz. Now their whole neighborhood, unfortunately, we love them, we love every single Jew, but unfortunately they were not keeping Shabbat yet. They were not keeping Shabbat. But there was one family there that kept Shabbat. This family said over the story to Zamir Cohen, and he said to please advertise it. What happened was, usually they're not there for Shabbat in the kibbutz because they rather raise their kids in a neighborhood where everybody else keeps Shabbat. So they live there the whole week in that kibbutz, and on Shabbat they go away for a weekend to their parents, whatever it is, a neighborhood people keep Shabbat. Happens to be that holiday Simchat Torah, they decided we're staying home. We're staying this Shabbat, we're staying Simchat Torah at home in this kibbutz. This lady happens to be due any day, and she felt she was tired, so she has to stay home. B'ezrat Hashem, she have a healthy baby, B'ezrat Hashem. So they stayed home. Okay, to their mazat, to their luck, whatever Hashem wants, they stayed Simchat Torah, specifically that Shabbat where the terrorist attack happened. Early in the morning, they hear the gunshots, they hear the rockets, and it's getting closer and closer. They run to the mamad. Mamad is the safe room. Every house in Israel and every apartment building has a mamad. I have many relatives in Israel, so they always send me pictures and videos. Very scary. My brother Rana lives in Petach Tikva. There was a rocket that fell in the next building across from where he lives. Right, literally the next building across. The danger is so scary, Rabbatai. And we have to be aware of it. But we have to understand that Hashem is even bigger, and the Yeshua is very, very, very soon. Our tefillot really make a difference. So this family said that they ran to the mamad, they ran to the safe room. And they closed the door behind them, but there's no locks. Unfortunately, these doors, I guess, don't have locks. So in order for a person not to walk in, you have to hold the door open. Which, by the way, some people really lost their lives because of that. A lot of fathers protected their families. They were holding the door straight. And the terrorists were shooting, but they couldn't get in. But the father died, or the grenade hit him, but the families were saved. Very, very scary stuff. So basically, they go inside the safe room, and they hear the terrorists, Yimach Shemam, walking around their lawn. And they hear him talking. One person of the family understands Arabic, and he heard one Arab guy, Yimach Shemo, tell the other Yimach Shemo, he told him, no. This family on the map, don't go, don't waste your time. Why? They're not here for Shabbat. They're not here for Shabbat. And they walked away. How scary is that? This story was said over from Zamir Cohen, and he said to publicize this. These Yimach Shemam really had a plan. And on their map it said, no, this family, they're not home for Shabbat, don't even bother, don't waste your time. Hashem Yerachem. As much as we keep Shabbat, Rabotai, Shabbat protects and keeps us. One of the greatest gifts that we have, that Hashem gave us as Jewish people, is Shabbat. Is the beauty of Shabbat.